concept where spirit and earth meet together as one, united being.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Peripheral Consciousness, and thank you for sharing your time with me. On this episode, I will be discussing the future of the physical plane and what the future of anything means to spirit. The future is obviously time related, and I have discussed how time does not relate to the spirit plane. That being said, the future would be an aspect of the physical plane. If time is a measurement of movement in the physical plane, then the future would be a measurement of movement as well. The future is a current individual incarnate perception of a predicted movement of the physical plane. In other words, unlike the current united perception of the physical plane, the future is not a shared perception. The future is not part of the current physical plane program. Some of our perceptions of the future, while incarnate, might be similar to another's, but no two perceptions of the future are the same. So, if all of our perceptions of the future are different, then how could any of them be right? They can't all be right. And how could even one be right? What would make that one to be better than the rest? We are all different, but we are also all connected together as one, even while incarnate. None of us would agree to incarnate with any type of special power to predict the future. Because while in spirit, we all know that we are ultimately one, and we all work together. So, if none of us know the future, why do we even have a perception of it? Our total perception of the future might not be accurate, but sometimes we are able to create portions of our future perceptions into our current reality. So, our perceptions do have a possible outcome of reality, even though sometimes our perceptions of the future come to be our current reality. Our perceptions of the future don't become our exact current perception of reality. In other words, our perception of the future is never exact. Our perceptions of the future can easily turn into expectations. Most of us have realized by now that life here in this physical plane does not work well with expectations. So how do we draw the line between a perception of the future and an expectation? A simple understanding of knowing that our perception of the future might not be accurate is a great way to eliminate any expectations. This can also be confused with determination. Some might feel with loss of expectation, they might lose determination. Really wanting to accomplish something can be practiced without expectations. Expecting the physical world to do anything while incarnate will only result in anguish. Allow the physical world around you to operate as it will. The world is ever changing. Allow the physical world to guide you in the direction it wants. Then it is up to you to react in a positive way. No matter what the direction, you are always able to react in the way you want. Inner peace is always possible, no matter what physical plane experience is revealed. Our perceptions of the future are meant to be used as motivation, with the reminder of it being only a possibility. This allows our perceptions to change. Once you set an expectation, your perception stays stagnant. Like the physical plane, our perceptions must change in order to merge our experiences together as one dance of life. Our perception of the future is a way for us to plan an outcome of our perception of current reality. How can we live life without planning for what we want to accomplish? Some of our proposed realities take a lot of thought and preparation. Some of our perceptions of the future are outcomes that we know are going to happen. Like if we plan on walking across the street or putting on our shoes. These are perceptions of the future events that we expect to happen because they are relatively simple notions, and we have done them many times. Sure, even though we know we will accomplish these tasks, there is still the possibility of not accomplishing them. One could get hit by a car or become indisposed. Ultimately, we do not know our future while incarnate. Planning can be practiced without expectation. Plan your life experience proposal with an awareness of possible change to your perception of the future. Ultimately, your perception of the future does not exist. What's going to happen is going to happen. This does not mean that we don't have control of our lives while incarnate. We just don't have the control that we have perceived in the past. Our future is controlled by our reactions. We can plan our future by way of reaction. Our reactions manipulate our future. Our reactions don't change our future. Our reactions create our future. The future is the reaction of our reactions to the present experience. Ultimately, it is always right now. Yesterday and tomorrow will always be yesterday and tomorrow. We use the future as a tool of perception to give us the feeling of control in this physical plane experience. The physical plane, we do not have control while incarnate, but our reactions, we do. Our perception of the future is a great tool of consciousness that allows our spirit helpers to intervene with our reactions. Not all of our perceptions of the future are ours. Some are our helpers in spirit. Spirit perceptions of the future can be difficult to separate. They do this on purpose and for good reason. They do it for motivation when needed, but they do not want you to rely on it. So it is often disguised. Some future events are planned. They are planned in spirit and are created to use as tools for acknowledging physical plane control and how we all work together as one, even when we are not aware of it. Mainly, the future is a reminder that our current physical plane reality changes. For this portion of the episode, I will be allowing a spirit message in the form of spirit-controlled speech, delivered by one of my spirit guides. Please keep in mind that during any spirit-controlled speech, there is often interference picked up on the recording. And since it is spirit-controlled, I cannot re-record. Well, hello everyone. And how is everyone doing? All right. So, the future. All right. Everybody loves the future because you can make the future whatever you want. The future is your beliefs, your dreams. You can make that your reality in the moment. You can live for the future. You can even live in the past. It's a heck of a lot easier to live in the future or live for the future, especially if you're not happy in your current reality. The future can also be a very stressful place for your consciousness. It can add a lot of worry, a lot of stress, mainly worry. That's the one thing that I like to focus on, is assuring everyone that worry has its place in time. If you find yourself worrying about the future, remind yourself that you don't know the future. I'll say that one again because that's an important one. If you find yourself worrying about the future, remind yourself that you don't know the future. How can you worry about something that you don't even know? Let us, the spirits, deal with what's coming in the future. You just focus on your reaction. For that is what matters to you the most, even if you don't realize it now in the moment. It is your reactions that matter to you most. It is your reactions that you feel in the present moment. You do not feel the future, unless, of course, you're worrying about it. So, don't worry about it. I'm not saying that nothing ever bad is going to happen in the future, because in the future, bad things do happen. Because in this physical plane, it's a part of the experience. And it always will be. But you agreed to that before you incarnated. So it's nothing new to you, really. So yes, the future to you does not exist yet. To us in spirit, the future exists for you. You just don't know it yet. So yes, the future exists. It's going to happen. But your idea of the future does not exist because you don't know it. Spirits know it. Mainly because we know how all of you are going to well, it's a good way of putting it. I don't want to spill the beans here. We know the future because we are the ones manipulating the world around you. We are the ones in control, ultimate control. And I'm going to use it again, the analogy of the bowling. Just like bowling, we are the gutter protectors that pop up, that don't allow the ball to go in the gutter. So, we know for a fact that certain things are going to happen, and we know that certain things are not going to happen. Mainly because a lot of the incarnate are extremely predictable. That's right. Some incarnate are very, very, very predictable. We have an idea of what they're going to do in this physical plane before they even realize it. Because we know how they react. You can, incarnate, you can adjust your reactions. And sometimes we get a little surprised by some of your reactions when you focus on them. But you must focus on your reactions. The ones that focus on their actions all the time are not fully aware of what's going on. Because it's their reactions that the world is manipulated around. So yes, in that way, we know. And yes, there are large physical events in the physical world, the physical plane, that are, well, manipulated to be, I'll say. We do that to get everyone's attention. It's important to get everyone's attention sometimes. It expands your minds. It opens your consciousness. It opens the idea to the fact that there is something else that has, well, a lot of power over actions in this physical plane. But we have to do that. Because if the incarnate had full, total power of this physical plane, well, just imagine how bad that could be. There's a lot of confusion here. A lot of confusion. And again, with the bowling ball thing, we're just here to make sure that it doesn't get too out of hand. If we weren't doing what we do, it would be a total catastrophe. Yes, it would be. And I'm not saying that anyone's doing anything wrong here. I'm just saying it's impossible to incarnate without help. This physical plane creation was created in this way, to have spiritual help. It was not created for the incarnate to have total control over it while incarnate. I mean, that would be ridiculous. If you were operating on full consciousness right now, you would definitely agree with me. It would not make sense to do that. So, yes, we do control some aspects of the future. Not all of it, because we do allow free will. Yes, you do have free will. Your free will is in form of reaction, not action. That's the difference. And I've covered this before. And I'll probably cover it again, because this is an important part of the physical plane. And there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to believe me anyway. But for the ones that do, I like to repeat myself because it is important. And you'll notice that when you understand, it makes your life definitely not easy, but it gives you an easier path, less resistance. There's always going to be resistance, but I like to lead you on the path, and your spirit guides like to lead you on the path with least resistance. In other words, it's always going to be uphill, but I might be able to help you find the switchback. Okay. The future. In spirit, in your true and ultimate reality. The future does not exist. The future is part of the creation of time in the physical plane. It's a measurement of movement, physical movement. The future is also a reminder. It was created to be a reminder of the fact that your current physical plane experience changes. The future is a measurement of movement. The future is change. It was developed as a tool to show you that your current physical plane existence experience changes. It moves. Your current physical plane experience moves. Time is a measurement of movement. The future is meant to be a reminder of the fact that your life changes. So don't freak out. If you don't like it in the moment, it's going to change. That's what the future, the perception, your perception of the future, is also meant to be. It's a reminder that you're going to change no matter what. No matter what you do. Your current physical plane experience is going to change. In spirit, not so much. In spirit, nothing has to change. So there is no future. You can just be in spirit. I know some are understanding me right now. I know some are not, but that's okay. I'm not going to say it, but everyone knows what I want to say. I'm not going to say it. Moving on. The future can be a wonderful, conscious creation. You are free to create your own future, at least your own perception of the future. Life in the physical plane is a perception. The whole experience is a perception. So in a way, the future perception is your current reality. Another way to put it is you can make your current reality in this physical plane while incarnate anything you want. And I believe that's how I started off in this episode. You can make your current experience, perception, however you want. But don't allow your perception of the future to affect you in a negative way. That's my job. To make sure that you're not, punishing yourself. Your spirit guides want you to not worry about the future, especially if you're in the later phases of your life experience. You've already gone through enough of the hardship. So don't allow yourself to worry about the future, because ultimately you can't control the future. So there's nothing you can do about it except, yes, like I always say, control your reactions. You feel your reactions, and you can adjust your reactions by a reminder of the truth. And I say it all the time, I know, but this is important. Remind yourself that no matter what happens in the future or what has happened in the past, or what is happening in the present in your physical incarnate life. Everything is going to be okay ultimately, no matter what happens. Remind yourself that you don't control the future. You control your reactions. Let the future be what it's going to be. It's already made up its mind what it's going to be and what it's going to do. You just don't know it yet. So don't worry about it. Because now is the future. That's right. That's a whole other way of looking at it. And I'm sure a lot of people do that. But now is the future. It's also the past. Because yes, it is always right now. That never changes. No matter what happens, it will always be right now. If you want your right now to be worry or confusion, then I can't stop you because you control your reactions. But reminding yourself that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. No matter what. Is a great tool for giving yourself some ease of mind. It's always right now. Yes, right now changes. And sometimes it changes for the worse. But unfortunately, the only thing you can do about it is control your reactions. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going, well, you're telling me that I can't act in a way? I can only react? So I can't do something to eliminate a course of action? Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can't. Ultimately, this physical plane has the control. If you could avoid all negative outcomes, that would make this physical plane pointless. This physical plane was meant to have balance. Your physical plane experience is meant to have balance, and it will have balance. You control your reactions, ultimately, not your actions. Ultimately. We are the ones manipulating the world around you. but we manipulate the world around you in reflection of your reaction. Your lives are never going to be perfect. But by focusing on your reactions and keeping them positive for yourself is okay. And we will do our best to manipulate the world around you in the best positive outcome that is possible in the moment. Now, not everyone in the physical plane can have a positive outcome all the time. There would be no balance. It would not work. And you know this before you incarnate. This is something that you agreed to. And it's okay. Accept that bad things will happen in the future. But remind yourself that no matter what happens, you can ultimately control your reaction. By reminding yourself that no matter what happens, everything will be okay. No matter what. In your ultimate reality, everything will be okay. And use the future to remind you if you're not happy in the moment and something is not to your liking. Remind yourself of the future. The future is meant to be used as a reminder that the physical world changes. It's going to change. You don't always have total control of the outcome of change that leads to the future. You have total control of your reactions. And that is what counts the most, because it is your reactions that affect you the most. Now, I hope a lot of you are understanding what I'm saying. The future can mean whatever you want it to mean. But my interpretation of the future right now is meant to help you understand the current physical plane of existence that you are in right now. You're not going to be in this physical experience forever. You will be you forever. And in spirit, there is no pain or suffering. There is only one reality in spirit. So one of the great things about being incarnate is enjoying the possibility of perception. Enjoy your perception of the future. But don't worry about it. It's not worth it or necessary. And it was not designed to be worried about. Use it as designed, as an acknowledgement of change in your current physical life when needed. Of course, when you're sitting in Hawaii on the beach You're not too concerned with the future, are you? Because you don't need it. If you're happy in the moment, you don't need the future. Now, I'm sure there's some that work way too much and are sitting on the beach in Hawaii worrying about work or something when they come back. But the most people, and I know this for a fact, when they're sitting on the beach, they're not worrying about the future. They're not even thinking about the future. They're happy in the moment. They don't need the future. Use the thought of future when needed. Yes, of course, when you're planning something, like a party or you're building something, of course you need to think of the future and plan what you want to accomplish. I understand that. And yes, that can be a even more complicated discussion. And I know some of you are thinking what I know you're thinking. But there are some actions that are led more than others. You still have creation over your life. You can create your life. In certain ways, but actions are very similar to reactions. And why is this? Well, one has to act first to be the action. The following would be the reaction. So, which is the action and which is the reaction? Well, that's a thinker. But I will tell you, spirits are involved in the action portion of this physical plane more than most people understand. But we also do it in ways where it's almost impossible to figure out which is the action and which is the reaction. And I'm trying not to get people lost here, believe me. So when I say reaction, to focus on your reaction, I'm telling you to focus on what you believe to be your reactions. We will make sure that you don't get those two confused when you're focusing on them. When you're not focusing on them, it will be impossible to figure out which is the action and which is the reaction. And I know there's a lot out there, a lot of people out there going, what the heck are you talking about right now? And that's understandable. But I guarantee you, it'll make sense. Just give it a little time. Not everything is as it seems. And I'm sure most people have figured that out by now. Not everything is as it seems. Action, reaction. What came first? The chicken or the egg? Uh-oh. Here we go. What came first? The chicken or the egg? We'll use the chicken as the action and the egg as the reaction. Well, there's one thing that's missing in this equation. The rooster. No one's ever worried about the rooster. They always say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, what about the rooster? Well, without the rooster, neither one of them would exist, would they? Uh-huh. Oh, now everyone's confused. What the heck's he talking about now? The chicken, the egg, and the rooster. Yes. Uh-huh. Well, now that's a good one. So which one did come first? The chicken, the egg, or the rooster? That's a tough one. What the heck? All right. I mean, one of them had to come first, right? Well, are people starting to think more now? Well, if the egg came first, there's only one. You need two. Oh, yeah, okay. So now we know for a fact that the egg did not come first, right? Because you would only have one. So, did the chicken and the rooster just show up together? Well, now there's a few people out there going, okay, well, now we're getting somewhere. Now we know that the egg did not come first. And maybe there's a few people out there that already knew that. I guess the point I'm trying to make here, there's a lot of unknown. You want to know why? Because it's all consciousness. Everything is consciousness. That's why. Does it matter which one came first? Then why would it exist? Why would it exist? Why would it exist if it didn't matter? If something doesn't matter, why would it exist? Consciousness is ultimate. This physical plane is not ultimate. It's a subversion of your consciousness. There's a difference. This is not your reality. this physical plane. You'll find yourself noticing weird things like that. Sometimes there's no answer if there doesn't need to be an answer. Why would something be created if it didn't need to be? Everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Expand your mind. Understand your true ultimate being is not in the physical plane. This physical plane does not always need to make complete sense because it is a sub-part of your full and ultimate consciousness. The physical plane is a program designed for your current physical plane experience. It's a joined program of consciousness. And you know this ultimately. Everyone knows this. And sometimes all you need is a spark of awareness to unlock your potential of consciousness, even while incarnate. Understand your full potential. You are an ultimate being of consciousness. Allow yourself to understand the ultimate knowledge of existence. We are all connected consciously together as one, with our own each individual perception. We all work together as one. We all love each other as one. That is the ultimate truth. The future does not matter. What matters is how you feel in the moment, right now. You are in ultimate control of your reactions to this physical plane. Remind yourself you will be okay no matter what. Okay, this concludes the spirit message for the episode. I hope everyone has experienced an expansion of consciousness and an additional awareness of the future. Sometimes, for me, the future can be an extension of consciousness used for the sole purpose of dreaming. I would love to hear others' beliefs of the future. So please don't hesitate to contact me for any reason. I can be reached through my website, peripheralconsciousness.com, under contact. Thanks again, and I look forward to communicating with all of you in the near future. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your time. I know a lot of the things that I talk about can be quite confusing. That being said, if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'd love to go over them with you and discuss any matters that you might have at hand. Thank you again, everyone. Please tune in next time for Peripheral Consciousness with Emmy Johnson. Thank you.
Oh.